She feels like she was leveraging her name. As we reported, there was a critical meeting at Blake and Ryan's penthouse with Justin to discuss a scene that Blake had rewritten for It Ends With Us. Justin has said the meeting got super heated and he felt ambushed because Ryan and Taylor showed up. But a well-connected source close to Taylor tells TMZ Taylor came to Blake's apartment at the time Blake told her to, not knowing anyone else would be there.
Before we get into the heated speculation, let's remember why these rumors sting so much. Taylor Swift and Blake Lively weren't just friendly acquaintances. They were the sort of pals who spent holidays together, swapped inside jokes, and even had each other's families deeply intertwined. Blake and Ryan Reynolds famously asked Taylor to be one of the first people to meet their children, and Taylor later included their eldest child's voice in one of her songs. This wasn't some surface-level Hollywood friendship. They took vacations together. They commented on each other's posts, texted each other on birthdays, and made fans everywhere believe that genuine companionship could still flourish among A-list stars. To many, if there was one constant in Taylor's life, beyond writing hit songs, it was her rock-solid relationship with Blake and Ryan. Yet, with any close bond under the spotlight, even the smallest misunderstanding can light a wildfire of speculation. When rumors started to swirl that Blake and Taylor might be giving each other the cold shoulder, people demanded answers. Was it jealousy? A career conflict? Or, as some suggest, a third party who unintentionally sowed seeds of discord?
Taylor Swift is having bad blood with Blake Lively. I am not your dragon.
Between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively, Taylor feels like she's been used.
Yeah, used in the middle of Blake Lively's war with Justin Baldoni. And there's certain things that that we know Blake has said about Taylor in reference to that battle that do not sit well with Taylor at all. The big one.
Justin Baldoni might not have been on the radar of Swifties or fans of Blake Lively at first. Known primarily for his role in Jane the Virgin, and as a filmmaker with a passion for social issues, Justin stepped into the limelight when he landed the co-starring and directorial role in the film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's It Ends With Us. At the outset, it seemed like a promising collaboration. Baldoni's interest in impactful storytelling aligned with the novel's heavy themes of intimate partner turmoil. Blake, on the other hand, was set to star as Lily Bloom, a character some fans described as the embodiment of emotional resilience. But behind the scenes, word on the street claimed tension bubbled between Blake and Baldoni. Some said it was a difference in creative direction. Blake wanted a certain tone, while Justin aimed for a grittier approach. Others whispered about general discomfort on set. Allegedly, even co-stars started picking sides. It might have ended there, just another Hollywood clash. But the supposed friction escalated when Blake and Justin found themselves in a public relations storm of lawsuits, leaked text messages, and swirling accusations. Suddenly, the entire production was overshadowed by rumors of feuds and power plays. Then, to everyone's astonishment, Taylor Swift's name started appearing in the narrative. People asked, what does the world's biggest pop star have to do with a romantic drama film? The answer, it seems, lay in a series of covert meetings, script rewrites, and a single, fateful text from Blake that referred to certain dear friends as her dragons. One of the most talked about moments in this entire saga is the alleged meeting at Blake and Ryan's place. According to rumors, Blake invited Justin Baldoni over to discuss changes she wanted to make to key scenes in the script for It Ends With Us. Justin, who was both starring in and directing the film, arrived thinking it was a standard creative meeting. What he supposedly didn't know was that Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift would be there too. This is where it gets complicated. Some sources claim Taylor was clueless about the setup and arrived thinking she was simply dropping by to see her friends. Others insist Blake orchestrated the get-together specifically to use Ryan's star power and Taylor's massive influence as leverage. In a text message later revealed in legal documents, Blake allegedly described herself as Khaleesi, referencing the fierce queen from Game of Thrones, and said she had a few dragons at her disposal. The rumored meaning, those dragons were Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift, two of the most influential and well-connected celebrities in the world. Did Blake really intend to threaten or pressure Justin into accepting her script rewrites? Or was it all a playful metaphor taken way too seriously? The truth is anyone's guess. But what's certain is that the dragon's comment burned its way into the tabloids. It painted an image of Blake weaponizing her powerful friends to get her way. And if you believe the chatter, Taylor wasn't exactly thrilled to be cast as a fearsome beast in someone else's battle.
This is a night for Blake. This is a night for Colleen. I'm just so grateful that we're here. 5 years in the making.
And finally, it's here.
It's here. It's here.
Well, you did it, and you did it so well. And who did you bring with you tonight to celebrate this highly anticipated movie?
I brought my entire family.
I mean, your wife is looking like a bombshell.
Come here, baby.
Taylor Swift feels like she was used by Blake Lively in her war with Justin Baldoni. She resents Blake calling her one of her dragons.
Understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you. What's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?
Like asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you and then we could...
While the dragon's text provided sensational fodder for the public, deeper issues may have been simmering long before that. Whispers emerged that Blake felt with certain scenes, particularly one that required close contact with Justin Baldoni. Some alleged it was a moment that felt too intimate, especially given that Blake had recently given birth. Insiders Justin lingered during a kissing scene that he asked a personal trainer to take notes on Blake's postpartum body for a particular lift. Others argued Justin was simply trying to avoid injuring his back, as he has a history of back problems. Whether it was insensitivity or a simple misunderstanding, the tension evidently kept growing. Then came the stories of behind this friction. Some cast members, including Jenny Slate, reportedly avoided Justin on social media, fueling speculation there was an unspoken divide. Paparazzi pictures from the set allegedly showed Blake walking off immediately after each scene, giving the impression she wanted nothing more than to be away from the production once her job was done. Still, none of these rumors would have dragged Taylor Swift's name into the equation, except for the fact that Blake, according to several, insisted on rewriting certain scripts and enforcing them with celebrity support. Suddenly, the fiasco wasn't just about creative differences. It was about power, who had it, who needed it, how it was being wielded.
I had a intense year. This morning I sent a text message. I had anxiety.
Why is that?
I haven't talked about this yet, but...
Justin Baldoni is an actor, filmmaker, and a New York Times bestselling author. He co-founded Wayfarer Studios.
If disagreements on a film set were the only problem, this story might have faded away after the movie's release. But the situation went nuclear when official legal actions began. Allegations flew that was locked out of certain premiere events, or that Blake's team manipulated publicity in ways that undercut Baldoni's vision for the film. Blake responded with her own volley. According to her side, Justin had created a toxic environment. She claimed there was a coordinated smear campaign by Baldoni's publicists to make her look bad, especially after she spoke out about feeling uncomfortable. In short, the entire production devolved into a messy tangle of he said, she said, each side claiming to be a true victim. Then came the countersuits. Justin filed a massive claim against Blake, Ryan, and others, insisting that he was pressured into approving scripts he never wanted. He cited the dragon's text and that fateful meeting at Blake's apartment as evidence that he'd been ambushed. He also alleged that Ryan and Taylor's presence was no coincidence, but rather a tactic to corner him. Suddenly, mainstream were less about "It Ends With Us" as an important story tackling serious issues, and more about the meltdown between its star and director. Fans of Taylor Swift, who had zero to do with the film itself, watched in shock as she got name-dropped in legal documents. For someone who consistently stands by her closest friends, Taylor Swift faced a truly bewildering predicament. Here she was, dragged into a controversy over a film she wasn't even with, allegedly used to reinforce another star's demands. The moment tabloids discovered the dragon's reference, they pounced. Gossip outlets speculated endlessly about how Taylor felt described as a weapon. Some she laughed it off and considered it silly hyperbole. Others hinted she was furious at being blindsided. A few claimed she told Blake privately to keep her out of the lawsuit. One thing is clear, Taylor has always been protective of her image and personal circle. She rarely steps into public drama without a reason. The The fact that the name was now circulating in legal documents, lawyers looking into that meeting, may have made her incredibly uneasy. There were even rumors she could be subpoenaed if the lawsuits escalated. Adding to this friction were questions about how Ryan Reynolds, did he knowingly participate in pressuring Justin Baldoni? Or did he, like Taylor, walk into a situation without realizing it would become so significant? Their public statements, or lack thereof, left fans guessing.
But are you Team Blake or Team Justin? He said, I don't speak English, Gail.
I'm team it ends with us.
It ends with us star Brandon Sklenar playing Switzerland.
Brandon Sklenar posted a statement to Instagram at the end of August saying,
Once the legal battle spilled into public view, fans on social media formed their own tribunals. Every new leak, every snippet text message, and every rumor about a hush-hush meeting fueled online debates. Hashtag Team Blake, hashtag Team Justin, and even hashtag Team Taylor started popping up on Twitter. For a moment, it looked like people were forgetting the movie's central theme, domestic challenges and female empowerment, and focusing purely on the drama. Some longtime admirers of Blake felt betrayed, claiming she used star friends as pawns. Swifties that Taylor's brand would suffer from unwanted involvement in another star's scandal. Then you had those who believed Justin Baldoni was the real, calling him a scapegoat for an A-list actress who to control the film's narrative. They pointed to interviews where Justin spoke about supporting survivors of intimate partner problems, suggesting he genuinely to honor the gravity of the source material. In the midst of this frenzy, the court of public opinion became more influential than any official ruling. Blake's side accused Justin's team of selectively leaking footage that painted her in a negative light. Justin's lawyers fired back. They only released evidence to defend him against false. No matter whose version you believed, it was chaos. Amid all the back and forth, the burning question lingered. The turmoil destroyed the friendship between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift. After all, these two had been each other's supporters for years. On the surface, they still followed each other on social media. Sightings of them together dwindled. Insiders reported that felt blindsided and hurt. She wasn't thrilled to be labeled as a fierce dragon in a text used to intimidate someone. She also wasn't eager to be dragged into depositions or witness statements if the lawsuits spiraled further. Rumor circulated that Taylor purposefully skipped certain gatherings or events where she suspected Blake would be present, just to avoid the entire conversation. Meanwhile, some sources close to Blake argued that Taylor was overreacting. They claimed the dragons was just a playful joke and that Blake never intended to weaponize her closest friends. Whether that was enough to mend their bond remains an open question. The fact that has remained tight-lipped might indicate she wants to protect herself from legal entanglements. Or maybe she's genuinely upset and doesn't know how to approach Blake. We can only speculate. Both women have always valued privacy, so if they're out their differences, they're likely doing so behind closed doors. While fans fixated on the personal drama, the lawsuits carried on. Blake launched her own alleging workplace harassment and intimidation, which Justin vehemently denied. Meanwhile, he sued for defamation and breaches, producing text messages and emails he said proved he was cornered into massive creative changes. The media latched onto sensational stories of hush-hush arrangements, rumored basement lockouts, and claims that Justin's family and friends were segregated at events. At one point, even Blake's old co-stars from the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants weighed in, supporting her version of events and any hint of retaliation. In a bizarre twist, other people in the industry, publicists, trainers, and even minor cast members began sharing or posting cryptic remarks, each sounding they had a big reveal waiting in the line between fact and speculation blurred. Every day, new claims threatened to overshadow whatever left of the film's actual message. By this stage, the tension extended far beyond a simple rift between a director and his lead actress. It became a media circus, with Taylor Swift's cameo in this adding an extra layer of intrigue. Rarely do you see an off-screen storyline overshadow the film itself. That seemed to be exactly what was happening. When the rumor mill churns this intensely, it's only natural for to take sides, and for other celebrities to voice carefully worded opinions. Some spoke out to Taylor, saying she's never been one to coerce others, let intimidate them over script. Others argued that if Blake was truly facing an uncomfortable environment on set, having powerful friends by her side have felt like her only safety net. Occasional remarks by people on the production team hinted at deeper issues. Few insisted Justin was incredibly respectful, while others said they saw behavior from him made them uneasy. A handful of staffers suggested Blake was professional on camera but distant and tense off it. The contradictories made it nearly impossible to pin down a single truth. The public, meanwhile, seemed torn between sympathy for a new mother who felt disrespected and concern for a filmmaker to do justice to a serious subject matter. Caught in the middle was Taylor Swift, who, by most accounts, never asked to be there. One telling sign came when major events rolled around, particularly big games or award shows where fans often expect to see celebrities mingling. People noted that Taylor was spotted at certain events without Blake and vice versa. It wasn't proof of a falling out per se, but it raised questions. At the Super Bowl, observers noticed that while Taylor was rumored to be attending with close friends, Blake and Ryan weren't by her side, despite having a public love for sports and the type of cameo that always excites paparazzi. Some tabloids claimed Blake canceled last minute. Others said she was never invited. The speculation only intensified when footage emerged of Taylor hugging various friends in the VIP section, but Blake was nowhere to be found. The rumor mill took that as a sure sign the two were on a break. The deeper you go into the tabloids, the more it starts to feel like an unscripted soap opera. If there's one detail that keeps reappearing, it's that fateful dragon reference. Was it just a humorous nod to Game of Thrones? Or was it truly an attempt to say, I can call on my powerful allies at any time? Some fans point out that Blake has a playful sense of humor and often references pop culture. They argue she didn't mean any harm. Others recall that in the show, Khaleesi's dragons were unstoppable forces of destruction, loyal only to their mother and fearsome to everyone else. It's not a stretch to see how that might be interpreted as a warning. And if we're to believe certain sources, that single text overshadowed the entire meeting. Justin reportedly felt cornered, and Ryan and Taylor's presence, whether intended or not, reinforced Blake's position. Even if no one explicitly threatened Justin, the implication that these megastars were on her side might have been enough to make him fold. Is that manipulative or just strategic? Everyone seems to have an opinion, but as for Taylor, the speculation is that she despises being caught in the middle. Taylor Swift has had her fair share of public feuds, from high-profile disagreements with industry moguls to clashes with other celebrities. But this particular rumor seems different. She wasn't out there picking a fight or defending a creative choice. She was effectively roped in without warning. Sources close to Taylor say she's not a fan of drama that distracts from her music and philanthropic work. Being name-dropped in a major lawsuit over a film she's not even involved in is presumably the last thing she wants. Some insiders insist she had no clue Justin Baldoni was coming to that apartment meeting. She thought she was just meeting up with Blake, Ryan, and maybe a few friends for a casual chat. Imagine showing up at a friend's place only to find yourself unexpectedly part of a heated creative disagreement. One moment you're sipping tea and hugging your pals, the next you're apparently cast as a dragon for a confrontation you barely understand. If that's truly how it went, it's understandable why Taylor might feel used or upset. What remains unclear is whether Blake ever sat her down to explain. Did they have a private conversation to clear the air? Or was everything too chaotic once lawyers and PR teams got involved? The lack of any definitive statement from either side leaves fans guessing and gossiping. Despite this swirling drama, there's always a chance this entire debacle could blow over. Longtime fans of both Taylor and Blake argue that real friendships withstand turbulent storms. They've come through so many life milestones together. A few legal headaches might not be enough to break that bond. On the flip side, Hollywood history is littered with once-close friendships that fell apart due to misunderstandings, ego clashes, or the pressures of fame. If the rumors are accurate and Taylor genuinely feels ambushed, it could take more than a simple apology to repair the damage. One day, we might see them laughing together again in candid Instagram photos. Another day, we might learn about a quiet reconciliation. As it stands, the public is left to interpret cryptic gestures, the presence or absence of certain people at gatherings, and the occasional snippet from unnamed sources. The question remains, was this entire fiasco a colossal misunderstanding fueled by creative frustrations and a single text? Or is there a deeper rift that no one can publicly discuss yet? Whatever the case, it shows how quickly Hollywood alliances can shift and how even the strongest bonds can be tested by the smallest spark. In the end, the rumored feud between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively might just be an unfortunate casualty of Hollywood's high-stakes environment. For Blake, the stakes involved protecting her comfort on set and ensuring a story she was passionate about was handled correctly. For Justin Baldoni, it was about safeguarding his directorial vision and artistic integrity. And for Taylor, it was about staying loyal to her friend, until suddenly, she found herself portrayed as the ultimate intimidation tool. All of this leads us back to our initial question: is this a genuine falling out, or just another sensationalized rumor that will vanish once the public moves on? Friendships have broken over far less, but they've also survived much worse. Will we see Taylor and Blake together again on a red carpet, smiling as if nothing ever happened? Or is the silence from both camps our best clue that the damage runs deeper than we'd like to believe? Until one of them speaks up, or until the lawsuits reach a conclusion, nobody can say for sure. What's certain is that this entire situation has become a cautionary tale about the power of influence in Hollywood. Even the slightest misstep or misunderstood text can explode into a full-blown media wildfire, dragging in innocent bystanders. Only time will tell if the flames die down or if these rumors mark the end of a cherished relationship. In a place where alliances shift as quickly as the headlines, two best friends at odds might be the most startling spectacle of all. So, what do you think? Is this story just hype, or is there more truth than we realize? Let it spark your curiosity and keep you wondering. After all, when it comes to Hollywood, sometimes the most shocking dramas don't happen on screen. They unfold right behind the scenes, where best friends can become strangers, and a single text can ignite a fire no one ever saw coming. Thank you for watching. If you found this breakdown intriguing, feel free to share your thoughts below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that captivate and confound us all.